Welcome everybody to the second mini episode of Two Dimensional Champions, covering the third season of the Animator Expo project. And today's episode is on, let's see, how do I, Bubu and Bubulina,
Yep.
uh, directed by Takashi Nakamura, who I looked this guy up, and I mean, of the stuff, I mean, he's done a lot. He's done a lot of he's been in the industry really, really a long time, and there's just not a lot I've seen that he's done, sadly, except for a couple of obvious mentions, which is he did key animation on Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, and
Oh, wow.
he was the character designer and animation director on Akira.
Oh, that's
So
awesome. Yeah, so he
yeah,
has been around for
yes,
a while. Is there any chance he
yeah.
did that? What was that that like Black Swan anime? Do you know what that was called?
um, he did a movie called A Tree of Palm. I haven't seen it, so I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
No, I know. I don't, I'm sure it's not actually related because these guys aren't like type directors that only direct like a certain genre. Where it's like, oh wow, well this guy has this. You don't really. I don't feel like you really recognize the director because of like a fighting scene or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. But the show reminded me of this like ballet anime that I've seen music videos for, but I have no idea what it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah. I think you've shown me scenes from it. I just can't remember the title.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm gonna. It's kind of short, but the description. Actually, I don't know if you read the description that's below the show on the website. But I'm just gonna read it real quick because it actually helped me and actually understanding what happened. So a mean older sister, Bubulina, and a serious younger sister, Bubu. One day, a girl who had queerly long legs came before them. Her red shoes caught the eyes of Bubulina. She said, "With the shoes, you can dance very well like this. Do you want to try?" Yes, Bubulina strongly nodded her head in agreement. In the next instant, the red shoes held on to Bubulina. And so that's basically the story. What I didn't understand is it says a serious younger sister, Boo Boo, and there was just nothing serious
No,
about
look at
Boo
those eyes.
Boo.
She
Yeah,
never blinks. I mean,
I
she's very
mean,
serious.
she's like, there's just nothing about her that screams serious to me. But yeah, so I don't really agree with that. What did you think?
I have, well, I mean, it was all right, but I have a lot more to comment on than I did from in comparison to our last one. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I
like,
felt
yeah,
this was much more interesting than the previous
for
one.
sure, for sure. And I think that it's like based on like a myth. I remember the possessed dancing shoes like story.
Oh yeah,
So like I think that's like an old, like story to teach you not to covet other people's shit or I don't know, something like that. Some sort of like moral of the story is dot dot dot,
yeah.
etc. But like I thought it was really interesting in the beginning. Really reminded me of Little Big Planet, like the game. Like it sort of seemed like they were going through a platformer. The way
Oh,
that the art style was layered and the way that the characters moved and stuff, it seemed to me like they were playing almost like a video game platformer.
oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's true because it was very 2D. Like I felt stupid right after I just said that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you mean.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I was. It's actually kind of terrifying too. This short is eerily spooky.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, it's dealing with
like
ghosts and shit, I think.
yeah, and the more I'm looking at the character color designs because below the video on the Animator Expo site they've got all this info about it. The blonde chick who initially shows up with the red shoes and then gives them away to Bubulina. She was just really I was really spooked out by her in the show, and her character design just is like spooking me out still. So by far, there's something about how short her arms were and how far apart her eyes are, and how long her legs were. That
Right.
like really like just creeps me out. And I wonder what her deal was because she had the shoes,
It
but she had.
it was a trap. Well, at least according to like the story, that's how like the person who has the possessed shoes or whatever, they would dance until they die. They wouldn't be able to stop. They didn't have control over themselves. If it's how I remember it correctly. So, but the way that you get rid of them essentially is you get someone else to put them on. You're like, oh hey, you want to like try these shoes? And they're like, oh yeah, I want to dance like that. You look gorgeous. And he's like, oh thank fucking god. Now you have to deal with this curse.
Yeah. Which is interesting because why did only Bubulina turn into the ghost of the
Yeah,
girl?
that was kind of weird.
Because the blonde girl just seemed like she just couldn't stop dancing, and like you said, gave them up when somebody else was like, "Yeah, I want them."
Right.
But then Bubulina turns into the dead girl.
Right, and it was told, and then she tells her story to Bubu, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it's like, oh, I was never loved enough as a child. It's like, don't worry, bro.
yeah. And I thought the ending was sweet.
Yeah, I kind of really wish that with all of the balloons that she made to clap for the audience, that none of them that it didn't sound like clapping, it just sounded like the bouncing noise of that like it first happened,
Mm,
like it was just like boing boing boing, and I just wish there was like a ton of like boing 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 instead of actual
yeah,
clapping, like. I was
yeah,
just like, please, and then they were like, no. I was like, okay.
yeah. I didn't care for that either because it made for a very awkward transition from the boing boings to regular clapping and crowd noises too, which I thought was weird too.
Right.
It would have been, I think, much more effective and much creepier if it was just like this echoing, boinging
Right.
sound. Yeah,
Of balloons.
because the balloon people already look scary. So
Yeah, you have like a fear of balloons? Is that what's
maybe this show like is bringing up something
for
that's
some
like
sort of
really
deep
terrifying
seated
for me.
like there was like a scary clown that made a balloon toy for you once, and you're just like, ah.
Freaked me out. Yeah, because also the monsters kind of creep me out too. Like there's
Yeah,
something really.
it didn't happen to me. I didn't think any of this was really
Really?
creepy at all.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have nightmares about this later.
It's okay,
So
we can cuddle. It's legit.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I just something about it really creeped me out about this. Just the style, and I think with like the old style of music too in the background,
Right.
that kind of like creepy like circus show music. That was effective. I thought that was a good choice. And I think the logo was like vaguely reminiscent of like the old Looney Tunes like logo with like the circles going towards like the center. That was kind of 3D ish in a way, if I'm remembering
Yeah,
that
yeah.
correctly.
Like the that's all folks sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, like that.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that was that may not have been intentional, but that was what I thought of when I saw the title. I was like, oh, it's like Looney Tunes, so scary. So
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Looney Tunes are terrifying. You're right.
yeah,
I saw and
it's like
balloons. Fuck.
yeah. Oh shit.
Today I learned.
Yeah, today I
So yeah.
discovered that I have fear of Boo. I guess is the name.
Yeah.
And I still think they're screwing up with that description. I don't see what's so serious about Boo, but I guess there's something that didn't come across in the short.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
I mean, she might be more emotionally intelligent, maybe, than Bubulina, because Bubulina seems very like I guess driven by her whims because she wants the apple, doesn't share it with Boo Boo.
Oh,
You
that
know,
bitch. You're
that
right.
bitch, saucy bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it all works out in the end, and they go on journeying wherever they were going.
Just
Uh,
like the great sisters that they are. Is this something that you'd recommend or?
yeah, I'd actually, I don't think everybody would like it, but it's definitely something that I can see. Let's say you're watching a movie with somebody, you're like, hey, there's this is a fun little short. that I want to show you just before it, because the animation's gorgeous, and I think the idea behind it is engaging and interesting, and frankly I think the animation is just so well done, and it's a nice bite-sized. I think this is like a great example of how when these shorts work really well, like Hammerhead.
Right.
They just really, you remember them, because like the previous one we did, the comedy sketch. I'm having a hard time remember it. I saw it like 3 hours ago, and I'm still like, I mean, we talked about it, and I'm having a, but this one like fucking stuck in my head.
I feel like this is the sort of thing that I'd like see at like a lecture, like in order to decipher different art styles, or like if it's an art lecture or like an animation lecture in like a college class, they're like, here's this short, apply these or how are these techniques applied or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, hey mom, check out this fucking balloon apple dancing lady thing. Like, I mean, it's entertaining for sure. It's interesting, but it's not like it's not particularly captivating for me. It's just interesting.
No, yeah, I mean, it's not like not shit your pants good, but it's yeah, I get you.
Yeah. I mean, so far of the three that we've seen, I would say that I liked the first one the most.
Yeah, Hammerhead.
Yeah.
I say
just really like the
Hammerhead
animation style. Really like the story. These other things, they're fun. They're lighthearted. They're they're the Tora and Ushio or whatever of like the shorts. It's like
yeah.
But I really like that you're feeling challenged about things and stuff, and this is just fun. It's just fun and playful. It's like maybe like my nieces or whatever. Like they're like, I would into Japanese animation. I'd be like, hey, check out this little short. And they'd be like, oh my god, fucking dancing shoes! I'm so scared. I'm like, aha, I never go outside. or
don't trust anybody.
Or meet boys. Okay.
Yeah. Or wear shoes.
Yeah, fuck shoes.
You don't need shoes. Yeah, screw that. Or red shoes at least.
Yeah, those skanky shoes.
Yeah, those skanky shoes. So I think that pretty much covers it. I don't know what the next one is going to be about. I think it comes out on Thursday or something, maybe. Quick little note about it though is if you like the music in the show on iTunes America, if you're in America, you can find the soundtrack for the first season of Shorts on iTunes. And what's cool about that is if you like the music for Me 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 and wanted it, that's part of the set.
What?
Yeah, so you can get the Me 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 music off iTunes right now if you want. And I think you just search for like Animator Expo or like Me 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 on iTunes, and it can come out. I think there's been a second CD. I think there's going to be a CD for each season, and only the first is available in the States. If you're in the States, if you're in Japan, you've got 2 CDs, which is sweet. But I think all the music is done by Shiro Sagisu, if I'm pronouncing the name right, who's the main composer from Evangelion, and he's worked with Ono, who's heading the project for a long time. So the music's cool, and I think he's doing the music for each one except for Me Me Me, which was done by the musician who did the Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt music, Teddy Lloyd. So just a heads up, and otherwise the link to the short will be in the show notes if you'd like to watch it, and otherwise our full episode this week is going to be about what did I keep forgetting the title of the show.
I need to.
My Little Monster
is
going to be our first 5 episodes of that. Is going to be our main podcast this week, and otherwise our next minicast will be hopefully later in the week when they post episode 28 of the Animator Expo.
Boom.
Yeah. So
enjoy that episode. Rock on. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, whatever.
Whatever time you watch this or watch this. I hope you're not watching this. I hope you're just listening to this, whoever's out there.
Maybe watching me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, that's awkward. All right.
All right.
So, catch y'all later.
Bye.